Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress, the Reptilian Finder today. Okay, we are going to go deep today into how to identify and track down reptilian humanoids, y'all. This is going to be a really cool show today. I hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. Oh my gosh, we had such a fantastic show on Saturday night. We had Amber Jocelyn here of Amber's Paraworld, and I hope that you guys were all there for that. I know we had a big crowd Saturday night, and if you missed that show, please go back and watch it. Gosh, it was amazing, actually. That was a wonderful show. We talked about her Randonautica experiences, her Gugway encounter, her Wendigo encounter, Fae, ghosts, talking to the dead, y'all name it. We talked about everything. It was so cool. So I can't wait to have Amber back on. And so, yeah. But today I have Barry Littleton here with me in the studio today. Barry and I are going to, and of course he doesn't know what this is. I'm going to throw everything on him today. It's going to be live reaction day as normal. But there's some videos going around. You know, I love to cover the hot topics, especially on Mondays. And so there's a video going around of a woman who has taken a thermal imaging camera around London. Okay, she's in the UK, and she went to, I think she said, the BBC, and she also went to the Buckingham Palace, and she had her thermal camera, and there's some interesting evidence, let's just say, of something being non-human in front of the palace. Okay, so let's say maybe we all should get thermal imaging cameras. I don't know. What do y'all think? Some of us already have them for Bigfooting purposes. It's always a good idea. It's a good emergency tool to have, y'all, and we're going to talk about that today as well. And speaking of England, there's also another encounter with another strange creature in a tree at a park. We're going to look at that video today. Maybe look at some still shots, figure out what that thing is. I don't know what it is, honestly. It could definitely be a wonderful remote viewing target. But we're going to look at that. We also are going to talk about humans being stardust as well, and look into some of the ashes, the cremains of humans, and get into that topic today as well. It's going to be really great. And whatever else comes up, y'all, I hope you guys enjoy it as much as Barry and I are about to enjoy this one. Okay, so if you guys would like to check out my website, please go over to my website. It's thecryptidhuntress.com, and you can find all of my shows and stuff over there. I do have everything archived, and I do have let's see, let me pull that up. I do have an event this coming weekend. So if you guys are up in the Western North Carolina area, please go meet me over at, what they call it, the Wee. That's what my buddy Ed just told me a while ago. They call Cullowhee. It's in Cullowhee, North Carolina. They call it the Wee. I don't know. It's like the A, right? Like ATL, Atlanta, I guess. But anyways, well, we're going to be over there at this event. It's the, if I can get it to come up. This is straight out of Appalachia. That is so funny. The WNC, Western North Carolina Comic-Con, that Saturday, all day Saturday. Yours truly will be there speaking, along with a whole host of other amazing researchers and authors and all that. So yeah, y'all come see me at that. And also there's other events I got coming up too. It's on my website. And of course I have a Patreon and Etsy shop. If you guys want to go check those things out, just go over to my website, thecryptidhuntress.com. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to our show today. By the way, we are on winter break this week. My son is home. And so we could potentially go a little longer today on the show, but we'll see. All right. So today on this episode, Barry Littleton is joining me to explore a recent report of a woman who took her thermal imaging camera around town, finding no heat signatures on the guards at Buckingham Palace, reinforcing claims that reptilians live in the royal palace. I think David Icke talked about that, didn't he? We'll also examine a large, mysterious creature clinging to a tree in a Manchester park and more. Of course, Barry Littleton is here. He is a cutting-edge researcher in all things strange, paranormal, UFO, ET-related, cryptids, and spiritual. Please help me welcome to the show our good friend, Mr. Barry Littleton.
Hey, baby. Hey, salutations. Ooh, I'll tell you what, thanks for having me. I was completely unprepared and barely got here in time. But I'll tell you, I just got this new watermelon vitamin, and I mixed it with this watermelon drink that I drink sometimes. And I'm going to tell you, it is so potent and vivid and tasteful and refreshing. It's unreal. Oh. I was just absolutely reveling in that before you put me on. So anyway, yeah.
You can't even hardly talk. Barry, well, it must be good.
Honestly, Jessica, it's little stuff like that. It makes me glad that I didn't die in an accident or stay dead. You know what I mean? It's little, I think, living in the moment sometimes and really enjoying and feeling the flavor of the moment in terms of so often, we're worried about the future, which is but a dream, in that way, it's not done yet, and worried about the past, and reliving the past that we forget right now is a present. That's why they call it the present. You know what I mean? And it's a gift. And sometimes we just miss that. I know we all do. I do it a lot,
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so just little things like that. Just for that second, I was like, wow. Kind of like when you ride that first roller coaster,
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I know. Listen, I love it. I mean, just the little things that help us to remember, first of all, appreciate that we're alive, but just to remember that we are alive. And this is a beautiful world. And it's important to have those moments and to cherish them. And we never know how long we're going to be here. We never do.
So. Somebody was talking and they wanted to discuss, because somebody else was talking about it, but it was the concept of really facing your own demons. Mm-hmm. And when it really comes down to how much personal power each one of us have, that's mostly tied up in sustaining this third dimensional world and surviving, okay? The great power that we have outside of that in terms of free will and in terms of perception, and when it comes to dark forces and facing your own demons, how much of that is things that our own negative self that we manifest that we're facing? How much of that is us and our own projections outside external stimuli? But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they don't exist, but outside external stimuli, how much of that are we giving our morphogenic field, our energy to, that makes the stuff manifest? And I think that's really important to start evaluating that right now, because I'm going to stick to some of these creatures and some of these phenomenon and problems that we're having are coming from consciousness. Mm-hmm. Just like the very concept of the false light death traps, that's coming from consciousness of people right now. And it's messing with people. It's causing earthbounds. That's a whole nother discussion. But I mean, it's the very concept of it. Things that happen through neural programming when we're in the brain entrainment, that has people doubting what the natural progression of even the death process is. You know what I mean? Which is questionable anyway, God knows.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, I'm just saying this. So thanks for being here. Thanks for having me here, everybody in your chat. And one last thing before I shut my mouth, because I have no idea what we're talking about. I should have had you on yesterday. Thanks for coming in the chat and helping out as usual. I should have had you on because I gave several references to you in some of these targets that we've done, and it's just, I should have had you there. I could have pulled it up while we were talking or something. Or I'm getting better though. I can't believe I've almost done 30 of those things. I can't believe it.
I know you're doing great with your lives.
Against doing lives. I'm still kind of slow and robotic, but I'm getting there. Anyway, thanks for that.
Oh, of course. No, I love being there for your shows, Barry. I always try to hit up whatever I can. Listen, I had a surprise engagement party yesterday for a family member. We knew we had lunch, but we didn't know why we were being called to lunch, and it was one of those things. So we ended up having a big old party. So I was kind of in and out of your chat yesterday for my I guess I can say who it was. It was one of my nephews. Okay, so yeah,
congratulations to them.
Thank you. Yeah,
I have a very hard time even looking at the chat till I get done, because I get distracted, and once I go off path, I'm screwed. When I'm talking, I'm already screwed. It's already a rocky path anyway. I can't get off the trail, man. Because I'm missing 411.
Oh my gosh, you're doing great, Barry. I'm super proud of you.
Hey, thanks,
and we do make this stuff look easy sometimes, don't we? It's not very easy to do all the choreography of a live show. It takes a lot of work. It does, especially to keep a smile on your face too while you're doing it. Okay.
I've been considering doing. My friend is back in town, and he hit me up, and I'm considering starting doing fast blasts again. With the lives too. But I'll tell you, nobody understands what a pain in the ASS those fast blasts are to condense that information and get it in the time frame that my friend likes to edit it within is very daunting, to say the least. But I like the way they come out because the music he puts with them. But it's like now thinking about picking that up again, especially be good for my Patreon people. So I don't know.
I love those. Yeah, you got to get back to your roots with that too. I love those fast blast videos. So they're great. Well, speaking of fast blast videos, we've got a wonderful, interesting video to talk about today. Now, this video has been taken off of TikTok over and over again. I've had multiple people send it to me. My sister even sent it to me after I'd seen it. And every link that I kept getting sent was like getting deleted. And the people that said they were uploading them were saying they were not the ones that were they were not deleting them. So it was actually the company, we're us all getting censored, y'all. Okay. And, and we're going to get into that too. I actually spoke to a Facebook, and I know we don't really have those fact checkers anymore. Right. But let me tell you, I can promise you they're still working in another form somewhere, because I know one of them who owns a big company, and a big Facebook fact checking company. And I asked him one day, I said, I'm going to wait and get into this conversation after we talk about the video. Okay. Because I was asking him why my videos were getting flagged when we talk about reptilians. And he gave me a very honest answer. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. I didn't understand it.
No, you can't do that. You can't leave it on the precipice like that.
No, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. I've said it before, but I haven't it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about a little bit for me for some reason. I don't know why, but he said it was a derogatory word for a certain group of people, is what he told me. And so they were instructed to flag those and put a Wikipedia thing on anytime you get or just to take the videos down on Facebook back in the day. I mean, that's what he told me. I'll talk about it in just a second. Okay. So this video now, Shoshana, are you the one who's in this video? I see Shoshana Anthony Conspiracies. She says, yo, that's me. I'm the woman. Let me know. Is that you in this video? Okay. Because that would be quite something to have the actual woman who's in this video in England. Okay. I have a YouTube. Okay. Now for purposes of not getting in, what do you call those things? Like copyrights and stuff like that, in trouble for that. I will, she says, I'm here. I think this is her. Okay. Well, Shoshana, if this is you, thank you for being here. It's an honor. Okay. and I think this is wild. Okay. Here she is. Okay. Well, thank you for being here. This is for entertainment purposes only. Thank you, C Duke, in the chat. All right. I'm going to just kind of, let's talk about this for a second. Okay. So for decades, we've had one of your favorites, Barry, David Icke, talking about, you say Icky, David Icky.
Icky, Wikipedia.
Yes. Look, she says, I'm famous, y'all. I love that. That's so funny. Listen, it takes one little video to go viral, and you've got famous people reposting you and people doing shows on you. Barry and I, ask us how we know. I'm just kidding. We have one video that went super viral. Okay. with us together, and Barry was rolling his eyes the whole time, and it was really funny. Okay.
Stryker from Airplane.
Yeah. Oh man, it was so funny. But okay, so David I has been talking about how the royals are reptilians. Okay, for a very long time, and not only just the royals, but like just people that are in government, people that are running things around the world, they're shape-shifting reptilians, and I cannot disagree with him. Okay, well, fast forward to this week. Okay, this weekend we've had. I came across this video. Like I said, a lot of people were sending this video to me. Shoshana. I believe this is her in the video. She's in the chat right now, and she took a thermal imaging camera. We carry these out in the field when we do our Bigfoot research. Okay, our cryptid field research. Everybody's got a thermal. I don't. I have a night vision device. Okay, I don't have thermal, but all the guys have thermals. Okay, and they have really nice thermals. And what a thermal is, for people who are not familiar with a thermal imaging camera, they detect heat signatures. Okay, so you can look through a thermal. If you actually look on all of my artwork, like even behind on my backdrop right here on the screen, that is reminiscent of a thermal imaging camera. Okay, so like you can see heat. You know, if you put a thermal imaging camera on like a person's face, their nose is going to be hot, their ears will be hot, their whole body will be hot as compared to the background. Okay,
predator vision.
Predator vision. That's right. And so hunters use thermals. The military uses thermals. Anybody, if you're searching for a person, I mean, here's my thing. I haven't talked about this much on my channel, but if you want to be very safe, especially in your home at night, get a thermal imaging camera. You know what they call those nods and stuff that the military uses. They pull them down over their helmet, and you got your night vision or your thermals and stuff. And you can see when, I mean, in the dark. Okay, you see in the dark because it's picking up those heat signatures. That's how we came across the portal out at the meadow. It was actually not hot; it was cold. You can see a cold signature out there. It was colder than the environment. Okay, so anyways, all right. So let's talk about what happened. Okay, so she got her thermal camera and she went to walk around the streets of London, I'm assuming, and went to the BBC first, I believe. What an interesting place to go, by the way. It'd be like the equivalent of like CNN here in the US. I mean, why wouldn't there be reptilians running that place? Okay. And I'm not saying all reptilians are bad, y'all. I know we've had some on my shows. They just don't like me.
They do produce Doctor Who. Much credit for that.
Yes. If you're a reptilian, shout out to you guys. I think a lot of people do have reptilian in them. I mean, we've all got a reptilian brain, right? Or something like that. But I was reading about the different blood types, and different blood types are potentially from different races of ETs and ultra terrestrials and stuff. And I don't remember if it was O or AB or something as a reptile bloodline, I think, but I don't know. Don't quote me on that, y'all. But anyways,
blue blood thing. You know, I'm trying to remember. You know, because the lady that's in the chat, she could probably elaborate on. Didn't before she Princess Diana, before she died, didn't she make some comments about bloodlines, and reptilians?
Oh, she said that they're not human. I think.
Is that what it was? What her said that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's called them Lizzies. Lizzies, is that it? Okay, hold on. I'm going to be pulling up your comments, Shoshana, okay? Thank you so much. I need to get Shoshana on the show, man. We should send her a link and have her hop on. Oh my gosh, Shoshana, would you want to hop on with us today if I sent you the link? Because you're welcome to do that. Or I can just bring you on another day, too. You can come on with us, okay? I would love to have you on my show. Okay. But she says, I went to BBC because the movie, They Live. We covered that a lot. It says that's the hub of where they are. Oh man, that's true. Okay, so she eventually went to Buckingham Palace. Okay, and I don't know if you picked up on any kind of non-heated people, people without heat signatures at the BBC. However, at the Buckingham Palace, she gets over there, and you can see clearly. I'm gonna play like the bit of this video from this one person's YouTube channel, because it's the only one that I could find that's still up. And you can see, and I hope it's still up. I better play it soon. Okay. But you can see that people walking around with like yellow and orange heat signatures, and then the guards at the front. Okay, another day. Okay, we'll have her on here another day. The people that were standing guard had 0 heat signature.
She's sure,
which is not normal. Sure. I've got the video.
No, I was saying she's sure she don't want to come on now.
Oh yeah, she said another day. I'll bring her on another day, so we have a full show. We'll plan on it. Okay. Hit me up at the cryptidhuntress@gmail.com, or put a message under here and give me your contact information. Okay. And go to my website, thecryptidhuntress.com, and shoot me a message, please. Okay. All right. Well, let's look at this video, I guess. Okay. Let me take the comment down. And let's see. I mean, this is not the best. I'm going, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking maybe I should mute it and we'll just watch it. Okay. And I'll have Shoshana, when she comes on the show one day, we'll play the full video with the audio. I just don't want to get in trouble. We'll do some commentary over this, Barry. Okay. I think that these are very important to cover, and I don't want these shows getting taken down. Okay. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that does not happen. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me make sure this is muted before I pull it up. Okay. It's muted. And thermal camera footage of Buckingham Palace. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is from the red or blue pill this is where I found it on YouTube, and it's going to be like a little bit. I'm going to kind of blow the screen up a little bit so we can see it better. But okay, it's muted. They're talking about now. I believe this is Shoshana, who's in the chat, which is amazing. Talking over this, like dubbed over what this guy put this video together with, and I believe that's you. Okay, and she was saying she went to the BBC. There she showed up. Okay, let me pause this. Okay, let me go back. All right, I'm going to blow the screen up so you guys can see this better. Okay, so I want everybody to see, like, this is what it looks like with a thermal. Okay, this is as big as I can get it. I don't know. I'm so sorry, y'all. I can't make this bigger. But it looks, see, you can see the heat signature on that person. Like, there's the pink, the orange, and the yellow. And you see the background, right? Okay. I'm going to assume that the legs are hotter because they're yellow. It just depends on what you have the thermal set on. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so there you go, walking. They are not proving that they're not human. She says, today I went down to Buckingham Palace in London. Again, same thing. As I'm walking down, filming, it's showing normal. Okay, so we're gonna pause this right here. You guys see, that's what normal humans look like in a thermal. Okay, so check this out. These are people standing around Buckingham Palace, and let's see, and there's cars going by, and then if you look, you can see people standing guard in front of the palace right here. And they do not have heat signatures. Hold on. Here she goes. She's got the camera in between in between the things right there. I mean, there's people right there without heat signatures. Okay. So, all right.
Can you show that again? I got to be honest. I saw some people with signatures. I really didn't see anybody without. I just can't seem to see it.
Let's pull it up.
Yeah, I see where you're. I see the person standing there.
See the person standing there, like standing guard.
I see two of them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get a better version of this video, okay? Because this is, like I said, this is on the very bottom, and I can't blow it up. Okay, it won't let me blow it up any bigger than that because it's so tiny. This is from a TikTok, and it's like filmed, portrait sized, and so it's just impossible for me to pull all that up. But anyways, y'all go check this out. Let me stop sharing this screen, and so please go check it out.
Al Bundy grabbing breasts.
Al Bundy.
That kept coming up on the thing there. Anyway, sorry. Well, that's interesting.
Oh my gosh.
I like to see it. I couldn't quite see, so I apologize. Not been there, but I could see the people standing there, like a couple of what might have been guards when I'm moving, but I didn't see anything outside of that. I need to almost compare it to who was staying there I couldn't see, but it's very interesting, if that's the case.
Oh, very cool. Let's see. Oh, Garyl's got her Shoshana's YouTube channel here. Oh, there's a short there. Okay. Thank you, Garyl, for doing that. Y'all go check it out. It's in the chat right now. So y'all go check out her short. It's got the full thing. Let me see. Maybe I can I click on this from here?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me take this and
see, I need to learn how to see that right there. What you're doing right now, I could not pull that off ever. That's way beyond my technical abilities at point. But I want to get there one day, though.
Oh, I've got it here. I've got it. Shoshana, is it okay if I play this? I've got your short here, the full thing. If I have her permission, I will play this. And let's just go ahead and play it. And I just won't play the video. I won't play the audio if that's okay. Since she's in the chat. Okay. Let's do the full. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm not going to play the volume on it. All right. And that way we can get a better view of it because it's the full video. And you guys go over to Shoshana's page, please. Okay. Share screen. And all right, here we go. All right. Thank you, Garyl, for putting that in there. I do appreciate that. Okay, here's the full video, the full screen. Okay, and let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Wrong one. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm still working on this computer over here. Okay, here we go. She said that we are sharing with this planet. Should I start from the beginning? No. This isn't clickbait. I'm going to show you. I urge everyone to go out and get one of these, a thermal camera. If you missed my last video, I went down to the BBC and everyone there showed up the same, except for the two guards outside, proving there's the two guards right there. See that walking right there? Today I went down to the Buckingham Palace. And again, same thing. As I'm walking down, I'm filming everything showing normal. I filmed the guards outside of the palace. Exactly the same thing. No heat whatsoever. Yeah, I see the guards by the door. You can see right behind, there is heat coming out and it's showing orange. So that's the heat coming out of the building. But even, oh, I missed that. How do you explain this again? I don't know whether they're reptilian, vampires. I don't know. I don't claim to know what they are. But what I would recommend is that everyone buys one of these things. And as I said, this is not, let's see, I've not amended. I've not adjusted the video in any way. This is exactly what I filmed today at Buckingham Palace. And anyone can replicate this themselves. So if you can go out and buy one of these things and see it for yourself, yeah, go do it. I love it. Thank you, Shoshana, for being here. Oh man, how cool is this, y'all? What do you think, Barry? Should we all go out and get thermals? I think that we should. I think we should all go get thermal.
I think that's super interesting.
Me too.
But there's one thing I want to say, okay, and this is just, I don't want anybody to get mad at me, all right? But I have to look at all the possibilities, all right, especially as someone
that's what we do.
Science. Right now, they have got military-grade suits. One of them is called the Nemesis suit, and they're specially made to block thermal signatures. That clothing does. So if you were looking at one of those people wearing one of those military uniforms on the thermal, it would probably look like that. That's just something I want to throw in there. People can look that up. The Nemesis suit. But you start getting these different metamaterials and things that can block that stuff, or it's just not natural. Exactly what she's saying. So I'm not saying either way or the other, but I'm just trying to throw all the possibilities in there. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, that's what I was wondering that too, because if they are military, like the King's Royal Guards or whatever. I mean, even in front of the BBC, if I'm not mistaken, there were a couple that were in front of the BBC that didn't have heat signatures. But I mean, there could, there's a whole bunch of things that could be, but with the history of rumors of there being a reptilian royal family and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, and we're seeing more and more evidence of it. Good Lord, with the whole e-files that came out about a week or two ago, there are people who are eating humans and babies. And what other explanation? But maybe they're vampires or reptilians.
That's been going on for a long time. People seem to forget that truly there's a part of when you start dealing with before Jim Crow and the whole racial thing that's went on through this country. You had a time where brothers was getting eaten. Okay, they were eating brothers,
A lot of people
consuming them. Okay, that's documented history. Especially when you start looking into things that's like without sanctuary, that stuff comes up. They show this as proof of this. So to a point of where you and we're the same age pretty much. You're still a little. You still got a thing on there. You can stay for anything. I can't do that. Anyway, point being, when Jeffrey Dahmer first got caught, you had brothers, that were saying like, Dr. Welsing and other Cress Welsing were saying, that's historically he was grubbing up on brothers too, cannibalistic. Okay. And that's something that's been that's went on before. That book Without Sanctuary's got that documented of it. They even got some pictures of it. So, I mean, it's, anyway, I'm just saying, and I think, and then just looking even away from that, just different cultures alone, that you've got cannibalism that comes up quite a bit. It's not always like that movie where they wrecked in the airplane. Was that called Alive?
Alive is a rugby team. Yeah. Up in Alaska, I think, or Antarctica. Yeah. I think it was Alaska, if I'm not mistaken. It was a rugby team, and they ended up having to survive by eating the butt meat of their player friends who had passed away. That was a very traumatic experience. So just to watch that movie was traumatic for me. Because I was I could not imagine eating a person. I was like, I mean, I never in a million years thought that as I got to be an adult, we'd be dealing with the fact that, a lot of these elites are eating humans and stuff. Like, that's just, for us normal people, we don't think like that. So.
No, not normally. It's, and even when looking at things like, like the headhunters and the head shrinkers, still a different thing going on there compared to what we're dealing here on the consummation of it's a shame, but it's very, very dark stuff. And dark stuff just is prevalent down here on this planet, man. And I really hope that that's what's changing, and it's going to be a lot more than just the E-files. That's one cat they done busted. You know how many of them there are that we never hear about? And and I don't mean to be hypocritical, okay? But when it comes to like all this cloning stuff and people are so worried about these damn celebrities that half of them are insane, why is nobody looking at the people that have started these companies, like the genetics companies, and these people are these little nerds with the glasses? How many generations look just like them? They look alike. No one's paying attention to those people that are in control of the technology, really, that are people that are inventing it. What do they look like as far as cloning goes? I'm just throwing that stuff out there because I think when we start really wanting to deal with disclosure, it needs to be with more than just celebrity people that are people we see on TV. I mean, which is cool. I can appreciate that. I like celebrities as much as the next person. I'm a Kardashian out, whatever, man. Anyway, but you know what I mean? It's just interesting. That's all, because I want to see how much this comes forward when you look into the people like the people who do the cryogenic chambers and those company, cryonics. What about the people that run those? What do their families look like? How many of them look like they could be cloned throughout generations?
Oh yeah, we've got
there's all sorts of food for thought.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of people running around that aren't human. Okay, a lot. If there's one thing I've learned about the past 3, 4, 5 years, not everyone is human. There's actually I'm not going to say a small percentage of humans. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is, but I think that not everyone is human for sure. And thank you, Lynn. Lynn says personal security details would have the money for military grade fabrics. And that's true. Very true. But here's my thing. I still believe that it's a great tool to have, like having these thermals to go around and, going places that even aren't royal palaces, just in everyday life. It's like those glasses they live. And the glasses that the man wears, what is that? Roddy Rod Piper. He has his glasses, he pulls them down and he puts them back on, he pulls them back down again. And I mean, maybe we need some thermal imaging glasses. That would be kind of fun.
Something else about that though.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting tore up, man. They were getting like high on those glasses. Remember? They was getting like tore up on them. Remember?
Yeah.
They had to get some special ones towards the end that contact lenses that allowed them. They don't have the same effect. That gets them all like wasted out, feeling like that. Because remember, he's walking around, oh man, you know.
Oh man.
Going back to something real quick that you mentioned, not everybody being human. I completely concur. And before we get to the era that we're in now, and I mentioned this before, right? When I was younger, okay, I thought I couldn't see because what I would see, like I would see a cocoon like type of thing around people, a biofield, and oftentimes it could be like a yellowish color or whitish color or silver type of color, and it would normally was a mushroom type of shape or kind of a spherical. That's what I saw around people, but I didn't think I was seeing because, see, I wasn't seeing all the little cool little colors like this book shows. When they give illustrations in here, it's so colorful. I wasn't seeing it like that, so I thought I wasn't truly seeing. I was directly seeing the biofield luminous cocoon of people. But then once I was able to do that even more, I started noticing that in groups of people, there would be shapes that were not conforming to the human biofield. Things that had like pyramidal shapes or almost like an X type of, these weird shapes. But then when you look at it, when you stop seeing and just look normal, it's just two people standing there. I see them on buses before or in public, and they always seem to be two of them. But with their biofield signature, there's no way they're human. In the same way, didn't you wonder how many people died to learn what's to eat? What plants we could and couldn't eat? Not as many as you think when you realize that the seers can see the energy field of the plant and the energy field of people and see those that go together, those that are even bigger than our biofield or the power plants, okay, often hallucinogenic in nature. All right. And then you've got those that have a biofield that's completely destructive towards ours. They're poisonous for us. So things we have to look at that way when the world was a little different in acceptance of abilities. And we didn't have these jackasses saying that anybody who uses their abilities, especially mediumship or psychic
is a devil worshiper,
are demons. Yeah,
or a
but
witch.
had it with that. They can,
Man, that's been coming up a lot.
They can suck it. They can suck it.
Right. I mean, no, there's even people that I've been, I've had on my shows quite often that have changed their tune suddenly, and now it's all witchcraft, remote view. And I'm like, wait, you weren't saying that when you were on my shows. Okay, but anyways,
or anyone having
that
contact
right
is in consort with demons.
Yeah.
That's judgmental. That's rough, and we can't just blanket like all that. It's not fair to humanity. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. Well, that's why we're here, I guess. That's why we're here. I'm team human all the way, and there's no witchcraft involved that I know of with any of this stuff. Okay, so the things that we're doing, when it just tuning into your God-given psychic abilities, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, no. The only people I have a problem with are the ones that have things to hide. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
Well, the truth is, Jessica, is the main reason that whoever it is made sure that we lost the ability to openly use our telepathic abilities is because then it becomes really hard to hide from people. If you come, like what I was talking about yesterday, if you come in upon one of these serial unalivers that might be seeing you're in their presence, they're up to thinking about 100 ways to unalive you, and they're seeing it and they're living it. They call it trolling too for them.
Yeah.
But if you're in the presence of somebody like that as telepaths, they're going to be exposed immediately. The whole room's going to know it. I say, I got to get a psychopath right there. It's to a point where that's the problem is it doesn't leave us as much to hide if we're telepathic as a species, which I think we are. And I think that's becoming much more prevalent right now, especially with the younger people. And I've always found, before I shut up, I find it interesting how much the sun the solar radiation interferes with telepathy. If you really want to practice telepathy, do it when the sun is set. When that solar radiation is not quite as vibrant as it is, as active as it is during the daytime. It's quite interesting. Stuff goes through much more like 911. You can 911 stuff at night.
Wow. Well, you know what? That's interesting that you're saying that, because I do feel like people's psychic abilities are coming online more now as a whole, as a collective. I do believe that. And I think that that was one of the biggest fears that the controllers always have had, probably. And that's just my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. But I think it's potentially, maybe that's one of a big fear. And that's why we've been bombarded so much with all these frequencies and the things that are being sprayed in the skies and all that stuff, is to keep us, our pineal glands from, there are a lot of people are calcified pretty bad, and to not really know to tap in. And then we got people, I'm not going to say yelling at us, but really throwing really negative energy towards the ones of us who are openly talking about our psychic abilities, because they want to shut us up and shut us down, so that we stop talking about it, stop encouraging other people to do that, to tap in to their psychic abilities and stuff. And I think that's what's happening right now. That's why all this is getting exposed, Barry. I mean, look what's happening. I love it. We're talking about this stuff, and we just had Shoshana in the chat, who is the one who made this video, and it's going viral right now. How cool is that?
Going back to her, I think it's a her, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotta be. Sorry. I didn't see a picture, but very astute on noticing that, of course, and They Live, that they were having, like, a place like the BBC was. I do recall them saying that.
Yes.
They were on the broadcasting system. And I remember they took them back there and they showed them, and the cat was standing on the thing, and they were gone. They said, there's something about the goose saying, we're using gravitational lensing or something. And they're going to Andromeda. But I think that's much more prevalent, and in how they had completely tied into the frequency and was using that to really blind everybody. So she's correct on that. And I think that's very astute to go there and even try that. And to be quite honest, I would just be curious, what does she see? Like, they have those guards on the horses. I wonder what their signatures look like if they're wearing those material, whether it be metamaterial or smart fabrics, like your audience person said.
Spandex.
I just wonder. And it also brings up the subject, why those cats run around in thermal stuff?
Well, here's something else too, is like your face will give off heat. And those things that were on there were not giving off heat. So, like, are they going to have a full face mask too on? I mean, that in that case, they would have to have their hands, and I understand their hands would be covered, but like their face too, with like no eyes showing or anything. So there's that too. If they're going to have these expensive biotech suits on.
Maybe they have some mud on their face.
Mud. That's right. I doubt it.
Just kidding.
Doubt it. But stuff you got to think about.
Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, it's all really interesting, to be honest. And it's so much darkness right now that's being concealed and starting to come to light, that it's really good. I think it's good observation. It really is. This to me is much more tangible and real than some of the other stuff that you have talked about. This is something here we can see that there's evidence of. And, so, I mean, yeah, whether it be that they're not human or they're wearing metamaterials, either or, it's still very interesting. You know what I mean? And the reasons behind it equally.
Yes.
So,
Beth, you are a special kind of woman to miss your spandex. To miss your spandex. I don't miss mine at all. That
multiple Spider-Man movie. They got like all of them. I thought Tobey Maguire was the best, but we'll go on that another time. Anyway, but they're talking about how uncomfortable those uniforms were, and it's the young guy, the newer guy. He said it feels like he's wearing a compression sock around his entire body for the whole time they're filming. And you can't see out of it. That's gotta suck, man.
Ouch.
Glad they get good money for that.
I've gotten too old to be wearing spandex personally. That's me. I'm too out of shape.
The first generation of the next generation Star Trek, those things look so uncomfortable. There's no way you'd be crawling around in Jeffrey tubes and something like that.
Right. Tube socks and spandex. Oh man. Okay. Well, let's go back to the reptilians again for just a moment, because I had mentioned that I have a fact checker friend. Well, I guess you call him friend. we might be related. Okay. I'm not ever going to dox who this is really. Okay. But it's someone who I've been very close to my entire life. We have grown apart a little bit at this point because, I just don't talk to him very much anymore. And,
because y'all getting
but
old.
anyways,
Yeah, I know.
well, it's just, well, I was getting, we kind of had to block each other on social media because I noticed that he was going onto my Facebook page and like Facebook checking my friends and stuff and myself, and it became an issue. Okay, and he was making money off that. I knew he was. So I was like, so I asked him one day. I was like, hey, why are all of my videos getting flagged that are about reptilian humanoids? And he said, well, it's because it's a derogatory term for Jewish people, is what he told me. And they were instructed to flag them. I hope this is okay for me to say, but that's what he told me. And so I think it's just important that because people are wondering why, and none of us can figure out why are they, flagging all of our videos, and they used to take them down all the time whenever we even talk about this, or they just put a wiki thing on it. It's because of that. And so I found that really interesting, right? Because I never heard that before. That was brand new to me. I never mean to ever upset people, but that's what he told me. As one of the lead Facebook fact checkers.
Only, just say that, right?
This is for entertainment purposes only. Yes, it's on the screen.
It's very interesting, Jessica, because I didn't say anything else when you would reveal it. I was like, man, she's like dangling a carrot in front of a rabbit here. I was wanting to know bad what it was, but suddenly, I'll tell you what, I started seeing something. What I started seeing in my mind's eye, okay, and I won't say the name of this because I almost got in trouble on my channel for it. I kept seeing this book, okay? I won't say the name.
Okay.
By Dr. Cress Welsing.
Okay.
And it deals with a lot of the symbolism that comes along with racism. Like, for example, like they say for a brother like me to be in Washington, D.C. is detrimental because of the symbolic of the phallic structures. The Washington Monument looks like a big Caucasian phallus. It's got as damaging as seriously. That's things like that she brings up.
Oh,
right now, if I were to say something when it really comes to this symbolism that I'm sure your audience is already well aware of, but some of the simplistic ones, like right now, I say TriStar Pictures. You know what I'm talking about, but because of why? What did you see immediately when I said TriStar Pictures?
I have no idea what that is. So I don't know.
It's at the movies, at the beginning of the movies and the end of the movies.
Hollywood? I think of Hollywood.
It says TriStar Pictures. Okay, somebody gets me that
actually
watches movies unlike you. It's Pegasus. Okay. It's Pegasus. You're going to see that immediately.
Yeah. Like
it comes up. It's even better than Clash of the Titans. So that's just, but it's little things like that when you said that came to mind immediately. I started seeing this book and seeing Dr. Welsing. I just didn't say anything. I was like, wow. I said, how much is this connected now? What you're bringing up, the fact that it's a racial thing, and it comes back to that. I've been so chastised in the community when I first came forward. People saying, oh, he shouldn't be talking about that at all. It has no place in ufology, no place in this and that. Are you kidding me? Especially when I first came forward, I see nobody that looked like me. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be extraterrestrials or contactees, and that pretty much sucked. So but that comes back to this, and how we can't get past what we're talking about right now as a species to even begin to become a type 1 civilization that's dealing with like intergalactic trade and non-humans. So the subject of melanin and stuff like that, some people get mad. I'll take some abuse over it. I'll continue to take it. I don't harbor on it, but I bring it up so people bring attention to it, and that changes things. Awareness changes things. If we're going to be like really what Gene Roddenberry showed on the first Star Trek, there was something of everybody, humanity on the bridge, command officers. Know what I'm saying? And when you go to things like the first animated series that didn't live long enough, it was really good, original voices, they were able to portray several of the bridge crew members that weren't human. One of them was a lioness. Was when the horror wasn't there, she was sitting at the place. She's a lion. Yeah, so I mean, it's things of that nature. Myself being on board craft, I've told you with these eggs with those lights in them. You know, when I was there, I was so kind of tripped out and just blown away. I didn't understand that those lights inside those eggs weren't just power sources, weren't just plasma or bent light or condensed light. They're some type of non-sentient, probably command officers. But we're dealing with really multi-dimensional beings that have to stay in their own environment. That's where they stayed on within those eggs. More of their environment, vibrational frequency.
Yeah.
That's a real multi-dimensional ship there. It ain't like the Enterprise. You know, that thing I was talking about yesterday, that ore station. We won't go into this. We'll keep on what we're talking about. But that is something that you remote viewed. I said there's one in Mount Adams, and I think they're all over watch that video that I sent you with John Ravinko, parts of it, just to see where we talked about that. He named several mountains that he thought were active with maybe this technology, and how that was something that goes, you know, even back further than the Tartarians, probably the cats that came here from Triangulum Galaxy. But at the same time, that ore station, it is a docking station, and what it says in that book, the Key of Enoch's about it, it's also something that's put to help people become part of galactic citizenship, interdimensional ship. It's a docking place for interdimensional beings to come to and from and use as a Stargate in conjunction
to Earth, come to Earth into our plane.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder. When I wonder if it has these reptilians. Like,
when I went back and looked at that, John had said, you know, there's a conundrum on the other side. He said, my whole team, we all saw it, was that these beings that are near the portals on the other side, they're different. It's a conundrum in that they're tall, they're little, they're wide, they're dense, they're less dense, they're everything.
Wow.
And when they try to come through the portal, they all try to squeeze through at once and they can't get through. And the ones that actually are able to get through, they emerge on this side in the exit of the aperture as in collective conscious form. That's often either the orb form or some type of light phenomenon. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that was fascinating. I had to go back and watch some of that as a trip. I'll send it to you, and then I got hooked. You know, I was looking, I said, well, let me go back and watch exactly what we said again. So I made sure I wasn't, you know, off track. Yeah. Anyway, point being, sorry, back to the reptilian thing, but I think it does tie back up together because, you know, we talked about these orbs. And I'd said there was a whistleblower, won't say the name to get any eggs thrown at me, but I can tell you what they told me one-on-one. They said that they seen one of these Dracos that's like the one illustrated, the 12-foot one with the wings, like the royalty of them or whatever. Watch this thing contract up and then shoot up into an orb that was the size of a golf ball or maybe a tennis ball. And then this interviewer starts saying that's their ships. Where they're from, that's like a massive starship, but here it appears to be that orb in this dimension, in this density. So, but that's how that works. The difference, and it made sense when they were saying that. And I'll tell you, individual look, I'm pretty good with, you know me. We met in person. I read not just body language, but I also read micro expression of the face. And you got people like me all over that do that. And you never know it. Okay. And when it comes to micro expressions, which only exist for like a millisecond on the face on hot spots, there's several hot spots. I saw on his face what was quick. One was a fear and almost a type of disbelief too, which is some of the primary things on there. But there was the fear came through really quick and wonderment, you know, surprisement. Like, oh my God, I couldn't believe he actually seen it. So stuff like that. It still doesn't mean that everything they're saying is true, but at least narrows the margin of deception.
It does. It does. Well, we've got so many strange things coming in and out of this reality right now, and we cover a lot of those here on my channel. And I try to stay up to date and keep my ear to the street with the things that are going on in the world and the things that are, you know, going viral on TikTok and stuff. And a lot of these, like, granted, some of these things are AI, no doubt. Okay. But a lot of them are not as well. And I can really appreciate Shoshana's video and her having the wherewithal to go to the BBC and to the Buckingham Palace to go do some filming with her thermal camera. Shout out to you, girlfriend. I think you're doing great work, and it's actually inspiring all of us, and inspire especially our audience today to go out and do the same. A lot of us already have thermal imaging cameras. Okay, I don't, like I said, but I do have but you know what, a night vision camera that picks up heat. Okay, so go do it, y'all. Okay, get some if you want to go see if your neighbor's a reptilian. Okay, or your teacher or whoever. Okay, we're gonna look all crazy walking around with our night vision goggles and our binoculars and stuff. But yeah, shout out to Shoshana. Thank you so much for being here in the chat today, and I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I have no doubt that there are reptilians among us. No doubt in my mind. Now,
or just, or we can make it more broad and say non-humans, because I think it goes way beyond just beyond reptilians. I've described the charters before, and to me, they feel like they're human, but maybe humans from an extreme future, like several thousand years if we don't destroy ourselves. Maybe what do we get like before we change containers consciously? We get to the end of this Homo sapien thing and become Homo superior or plasma beings, which what it really looks like to me, high energy plasma, like the things making those crop circles, aka time travelers.
Time travelers, yeah. Hey, we've got a good. This is interesting because Ingeneb, what's up? Says iPhones with a question mark. Okay, you can get a thermal app for your cell phone. Now, here's the thing: they're not going to pick up from a long distance like an expensive camera would. And let me tell you, thermals are expensive, y'all. Okay, night vision is expensive. You can get some pretty good ones. I mean, you get a decent one. Like Matt Hooper was on our show from North Carolina, and he actually gave us the exact name and brand of whatever one that he had. It was like a $350 one. That's the one that's on the cheaper end, but he said it was a really good one. Okay, so there are some good options. Maybe I should compile a list. Okay, and if you guys want to get something like that, still expensive for a lot of us, right? $350 is still expensive, but they're actually in the thousands of dollars usually. Okay, but you can get these apps now. If you're just going to be testing out people that are in the room with you, yes, your app on your phone will work. Okay, but if you want to go like from a distance, I would get an expensive one, like a high quality thermal. Okay, but anyways, that's just my 2 cents. But yeah, the iPhones, your Android, whatever, you can get thermal imaging apps for your phones. Easy peasy. We're going to be pointing them out. Okay, who's human, who's not. You guys are always wondering who's human, who's not. Hey, well, now we got ways to figure it out.
Hey, question. Yeah. I've probably asked this before, but I can't remember the answer. Have you had instances where Sasquatch fails to register on thermo, or do they always register on thermo?
Ooh, they have not registered on thermal before, actually. Yeah, I saw David Pardue in here a while ago. What's up, David? He's actually got some interesting videos where there's no heat signature. There's no heat signature at all. And now, does that have to do with maybe their fur or something? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, we have definitely...
heat signatures on most trees, or not all trees?
Yes. No, not on all trees. All the trees will not always be hot and stuff. I mean, one of the last times we were up in Alabama, we had that. I got hit with infrasound. Right before I got hit, Keith and I were walking up towards a field where there were these 2 big trees with a huge, like a really white hot heat signature down at the bottom of both the trees. It looked like something like a bear had been laying against it or something. And we got it up there. None of the other trees had a heat signature on it, but it just depends on where the sun is hit that day and all that. There's a lot of factors, a lot of things you got to factor in.
I get real interested in some of these quick encounters that are starting to be relayed now, and this one I'd heard it not long ago, and it was an individual that said that they felt like they got hit by almost what we could call infrasound by the Sasquatch. And it almost made them fall down. But when they're looking at it, suddenly they see this tunnel. Not a portal, but it just becomes this portal. This light becomes this portal, becomes this tunnel. And they can see the Sasquatch, but past it, on the other end of this tunnel, is a huge tree.
Oh, yeah? Oh, so
Yeah.
trees are portals. Trees are portals. That's what I think.
Well, that and I don't want to get all into that. We talked about this before, but it becomes what
Okay.
are they again when coming to that a nuclear DNA, and how much of it might be something that deals with beings that have to do with chloroplast and do with,
Yeah.
I don't know, food for
They
thought. I
got
mean, I'm not saying
chlorophyll
that's
in
true,
their
but
hair. It is. They've got some kind of a plant element, some kind of vegetative element to their hair. And Keith's been on the show talking about that before.
it's the
Our
oil.
wildlife biologist on my team. And
Yeah.
it's got some kind of plant element to it.
It's the oil. The oil on their hair. It has the ability to, gosh, what is it called when actually the oil bends light, similar to the way that the predator thing does. And when you start dealing with
Ooh.
that, and the fact that they've got that green tinge in some of that hair that's been found, and
Oh, yeah.
that changes things a lot. Just natural camouflage abilities without using technology. It's very interesting.
Yes.
Very, and
Natural.
then when you know how the human eye works, which is first it sees movement, then silhouette, then color. So if you have no movement, you have no silhouette. If you're above what's called or below what's called the LOS, the line of sight, which is
Mm-hmm.
most people see only so far ahead of them and behind or below them, unless they see movement.
Mm-hmm.
Silhouette they'll often ignore, and black and peripheral vision is really in black and white. We think it's not, but it really is. That's why you see spirits in peripheral. Just what we talked about right there
Mm-hmm.
puts a person in extreme disadvantage. If you
Yeah.
have somebody who's not projecting much of a silhouette that's out of normal shape, it's above or below the line of sight. There's no movement, no color. It's not very hard to trick people.
Exactly. And
especially when they're looking like this all the time anyway, looking down at their phone.
look at
It's
their
really
phone.
easy now.
Yeah.
You don't even need camouflage. You just
Well,
stand right there.
you sure can. Yeah, because nobody's paying attention anymore. That's 100% right. I mean, I do camo awareness courses and things like that. And yeah, blending into the environment can be pretty easy. It's usually like you just stand right in front of somebody, they won't see you. Okay. Sometimes you just got to know where to stand and know where the line of sight is when somebody's like walking down a trail. You just stand right outside that line. And I got some more tips too if you guys want to hear them. I was thinking about one a while ago when I saw Beth's comment. Beth is a nurse, y'all. I believe Beth's a nurse, right, Beth? And she said some patients' normal body temp is 96. Most humans are 98.6. So keep that in mind when you get your thermals and you guys are looking at people's body temperatures. But also, if you are on the run, I'm not saying I need to run from anybody, but in case, we do need to learn survival skills, right, Barry? And it's important, especially if you're out in the woods and you're trying to get away from a predator, not the well, it could be the predator. And you got the predator, the invisible predator chasing you. Take one of those emergency blankets. They're silver. Okay, it's like an emergency blanket in case you get cold out there. You have no sleeping bag, no blankets. Take one of those emergency blankets so you can wrap it around you, and you will be undetected by thermals in the woods. Okay, even it's not a bad idea if you're out there camping and you have a debris hut, you're doing some survivalist stuff, or you're just trying to hide out. You can take one of those blankets and put it over your tent or underneath it and then cover it in leaves and whatever. And that's one way to remain undetected out in the woods. Okay. So now that you've had your survivalist tip of the day, let's move on. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay. And yes, Q, thank you for this. I know I did state this earlier. Some reptilians are benevolent. Not all are low vibe malevolent. And I know that. Thank you so much. That is very true. We do have another creature that I wanted to check out today, Barry.
Saurians too.
The Saurians,
the
that's right.
Saurians were Earth native, which
Yes.
earlier, maybe even the Hadrosaurus and other beings of that nature, reptilian,
I didn't say emergency spandex. I said emergency blanket, Nathan. Okay. But if you have emergency spandex, you go ahead with your bad self. Okay. And That is too funny. Everybody needs to get.
That didn't work for Christopher Reeve, Superman. He got all the spandex, those soup.
Oh man, spandex. Those blankets are loud though. Yes, and that's true too. They crinkle. They got that. They sound like plastic, kind of, or like that. It's just that sound. It's like a just a crinkly sound. You're right. It makes a lot of noise. So you gotta be real still. Okay. Thank you. You gotta freeze. All right. If you got something walking up on you. But okay, let's check out this next thing. Okay, so we've hit up the possible reptilians in England. Let's go to another creature. I'm going to show some still shots of this one today. And do you remember? I forgot to pull up the picture that I have, but there's a screenshot that I took from a video someone sent me of a woman had heard some noises outside her tent at night. She put her camera phone outside and took some pictures and kind of did a video just to see if she was picking up on a Bigfoot. And the next morning she looked at her video and it looked like a naked man sitting in between the fork of a tree right beside her tent. Or it looked like an owl. She couldn't tell if it was an owl or a man. It was an owl the size of a man. Okay, well, let me tell you, this just popped up in England. Okay, and this is kind of weird. All right, I've got several shots of this thing, and let's see. And it does move around, but the story behind this, I mean, there's a lot of things this thing could be, but the story behind this is that there was somebody that was running. Hold on, do I have Phillips Park? Oh, here it is. It's Phillips Park in Manchester. Okay, I'm going to read this to you guys. Let me see if I can find it. Phillips Park in Manchester. And hold on, let me go back to here. Takes me a second, y'all. Creepy creature in Manchester tree. A man out for an early run in Phillips Park, Manchester, heard something thrashing in a tree and snapped these photos. He caught what looks like nothing that is known to UK wildlife. Okay. And I don't know. The first time I saw this, Barry, I was thinking like, well, right there, it kind of looks like a person, but I was thinking either a monkey or a bear. Okay. And I don't know how common monkey or monkey bears. Okay. We've had a lady that showed up in our base camp one night that was talking about how she wanted to show everybody where the monkey bears were. And I think she was talking about Bigfoot, but this is weird, Barry. And there's different shots of it that show it from,
does it look like around. Somebody in a hoodie to you? It look like a hoodie?
Yeah, it could look like, but look at the eyes though. The eyes are just.
They're so self-illuminating eyes. That's pretty weird.
It is. It could be an Ewok or something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, to me, it looks like a bear the way it's hugging the tree. But I don't know. I don't think
I think it looks exactly what the overall impression of it is supposed to give. It's supposed to be some sort of demon. Excuse me. I mean, a hooded demon with glowing eyes that's spying on people, or what my grandmother used to call people watchers. And she claimed that those are beings that sometime manifested that were watching people from trees and over houses that had these glowing eyes. And they hung from things. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything that reminds me of I'm not looking at it and seeing, well, hey, it must be a baby Sasquatch. I'm not seeing that.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm just kind of seeing someone that looks like a person it looks like a person to me.
Well, at this point, and also, what is that, like La Llorona or like the Ishkatini or some kind of, I mean, I know those are, that's not really based out of England, but it doesn't matter. A lot of these things are showing up all over the world. Some sort of like a witch.
That picture right there, is it just me? But if you kind of look at it from the side, doesn't it look like on the side that's two eyes and a nose and a mouth with like a kind of a goatee over it? Do you see what I'm talking about?
No, I just, all I see is the eye. It looks like somebody has a hood on, and like I can see.
If you look down from the hood, okay, on the left side, you see where the arm's holding up.
Yes.
Look at the dark spot. There's one right at the armpit. Look below the armpit. Look at that dark spot. The one next to it looks like there's a nose between them going down to a mouth.
Oh yeah, I see that. It's kind of pareidolia, right?
Yeah.
Kind of it's a little bit of pareidolia.
Like a complete head. Yeah, that's real weird. But I guess we
Man.
see what we want to see. But to me, it looks like more. I'd be more worried if somebody's trying to break up in my crib. That's what it looks like to me, But,
yes. Well,
but the negative factor, I get a bad negative feeling from it, regardless.
yeah.
Even if it's photoshopped.
It's not a good feeling. It does. It looks like a gin. That's right, Beth. It does look like a gin. It does. Well, this is just not, it's not something super exciting to come across in the middle of the early morning hours. I mean, Barry, I know you like to go out and take walks and get exercise while it's still dark out sometimes. And God bless your soul, because that's
before the day walkers infest.
Before the day walkers. You're the night walker, and they're the day walkers. Yeah.
It's been said. It's been said. That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, that was interesting. By the way, where was that taken at, that picture?
It was in Manchester. That was in England. Okay.
Oh.
And here. Yes.
Maybe it's the pusher.
What's the pusher? The pusher man? I'm just kidding.
You haven't. No. In Manchester, in the canals, there's been there's something they call the pusher, that has pushed enormous amount of people been found in the canals over there.
No.
Like to a point to where people like David Paulides were looking into it.
What?
And it was like a question: was it actually a serial killer that was doing this, pushing people into the canals? So they called him the canal pusher. I don't know where they're at, if that's still happening or not, but there was a bunch of people that died like that.
Oh, so, yeah, gosh.
Food for thought. That's what I think of when you say Manchester. That's what comes to mind. The pusher.
Well, okay. Well, it does kind of look like a little Grim Reaper right there too. It's got that Grim Reaper vibe, except for the white thing over its head. But we don't even know what the quality of this camera was. I mean, it's dark out there. That could be anything. It could be black, and it's just kind of showing up as looking more white because of the video quality. You know what I mean? So we really don't know. We don't know what's going on there, honestly. But that's interesting. I've never heard of the pusher before. That is terrible.
And people looked that up, the pusher and the canal deaths of Manchester. Yeah. I want to say there's something like a huge amount, like 60 people been found like that, pushed in the canals. No. Yeah.
Oh gosh. I'm assuming that happens at night, maybe, like when there's people out drinking and stuff. And because we have a river and...
I can't say, but it makes me think that probably a lot of them might happen at night. But I mean, I don't know. But anybody could look it up though, because there's a lot of them. A lot of people that passed that, like, been killed like that. And sometimes way more than it's just somebody drunk slipped over in the canal.
Well, David Paulides covers some of those cases too, and we have the Savannah River down in Savannah, and there was times where people were falling into that too. Of course, Savannah is a drinking town. By the way, I'm not saying that's the reason people fell in the river, but you fall in a big river like that, and it's just nothing but swirls, and I mean, it's the chances of you surviving that are very slim once you fall in a river like that.
When we were down there, what was it? Grafton?
Mississippi. The Mississippi. I was just thinking of that. The Mississippi River with those logs, those big logs, and that's dangerous.
As we were sitting there talking to that lady, what's her name? Sherry, and then the blues and blues and blondes lady, Kristen. And I kept we're talking. I kept looking across. I was like, man, from one side to the other, I saw very little chance that somebody could swim that. You know what I mean? Across just the other side, it was in eye distance, but that the current and the possible sinkholes and stuff like that, I would never try it. I would never try it. I think the odds of you making across that thing would be very slim, unless you're like Johnny Weissmuller, the Tarzan back in the 30s. He was some sort of Olympic swimmer in real life. Yeah.
Oh man.
Or what's the guy that gets all the time? The big weed smoker. What's his name?
Yeah.
The guy with all the gold.
I can't remember his name.
What's his name?
He's actually H.P. Lovecraft reincarnated, actually. That's who he is. Michael
What's
Phelps.
His real name, though? Oh,
Michael Phelps. I think that's H.P. Lovecraft. I'm pretty sure, because you go back and you put it side by side, it's the exact same person.
Look,
call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't care.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't hold enough water with me now, because the one you threw out that was so preposterous to me was Jimi Hendrix is Morgan Freeman. Look,
Yes.
okay, when I was a kid,
I think so.
Morgan Freeman started off the Electric Company. Okay, that was 1971. And Jimi Hendrix died in 1970. So in 1 year, he did all that, went back and faked the whole credentials of Morgan Freeman and got on the Electric Company. Hey, you guys. Okay.
I believe probably so. Yes, but I don't know. Time will tell, Barry. Time will tell. One day, you guys are going to look at me and be like, "Damn, she was right." I'm just kidding. I'm kind of kidding. I do think there's something fishy going on, though, for sure. So, yeah. And today, by the way, I think today's President's Day, and Tyler Hansen did put out a pretty badass video today on Facebook. I was going to pull it up.
What's it
to
about?
show you guys. It's showing all these celebrities today who were former presidents throughout history, and it's good. It's really good. I'll put it on my Instagram after the show today and share it on Facebook if you guys want to see it. But anyways, Bigfoot Dwarf said that creature had a lined up beard. So maybe let's see. Let me go back and look at that. And
you talking about the side view? The side view thing?
Yeah, hold on. Maybe it's a side view.
He sees it too. It really did look like that.
Let me get the close up right here. I mean, it could be a dude. And here's another thing too, Barry. There's from what the news says, what I hear is that there's a lot of people who have recently, let's say they've recently relocated there from like the Middle East and stuff, let's just say. And when people move to a new location, just like people when they came to America, they brought their traditions with them, and along with their spirits and vampires and werewolves. What if, there's a belief in like the jinn, right? And coming from where this dense population of people who have just moved there have, maybe there's jinn now more. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Maybe there's like jinn sightings because of the population that has moved there. Does that, if that makes sense?
Following people was possible, definitely.
Could be. We talk about how like the casket girls came over here from France, right, in New Orleans, and we talk about the werewolves that came from, Europe and all that kind of stuff.
Wait. Reverse. I think you just eluded me. Yes. The Casket Girls. I don't think I'm familiar with the Casket Girls.
The Casket Girls. They came from France. Yes. Down in they were actually they were sent by the king to be the wives of some of the settlers here that came from France, over in the Louisiana area, and we're down in the southeastern part of the U.S. And they got here. I think the first set of these Casket Girls were they like to party. Okay, let's put it that way. They like to party, and they were, I don't know what happened with all of them. Okay, but they needed some more. Like they didn't work out very well for the men that were there, and so the king sent some girls that were more prude, let's just say. And they came here, and they were sickly by the time they got here, and they were all carrying their belongings in a casket, which later translated into caskets, I think. But they were said to be vampires, and they lived at this convent in New Orleans with the nuns and all. It's just there's a weird story behind it. I've done a show or two on them, and you can still go to that convent today where the caskets were kept. I guess they were getting shipped back to England because they were being abused and they weren't being taken care of properly. And when it came time for them to go back to France, their caskets had, I don't know. I guess they were gone. Their casket, I don't know. I can't remember what happened, but people believe they were vampires, and they may have had vampires in their caskets when they got here too. So, but anyways, you had to go watch the shows on it and go. It's a good show. I've done some good shows.
There's no weird stories like the story of Demeter, like the people like people dying on the ships that they took to go to and from. It's very interesting.
Demeter, I don't know.
You're familiar with that, right?
I don't
There,
know.
there
I've heard
was
of it, but
that last Dracula movie that came out. I thought it pretty much sucked. But anyway, it was called The
I
Voyage
didn't
of
know.
the Demeter, and the
Yeah.
Demeter was supposed to be the craft. In the original with Bela Lugosi, he tells him, "I've chartered a ship from England," and but that's when he got on there. He tore up the crew and possessed that ship basically. As they said, the ship seemed to be damned from the immediate that it happened that it left the port. he's in a coffin up on there, and
Oh
supposedly
man.
some of his wives he had shipped with him too, like two of them. So they were
Oh yeah.
waking up at night grubbing on the crew,
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh man. I love my audience, by the way. Y'all have some fun. Y'all have some good comments today. I'm trying not. Sometimes I'll see a comment and it takes all I have not to laugh. Okay, because some of them are really funny. Y'all are funny, and y'all are good. Y'all are smart. Man, I love it. But anyways, okay. Well, what's up, Tribbles? Good to see you here. Hey, I'm glad everybody's here today. Thank y'all so much for being here. Okay.
I see a lot of stuff going on about gin. Everybody keeps mentioning gin.
Okay, yeah. Well, I brought it up.
I mentioned it before. In this book, this Uranta book, they've got a description of what they call midwayers, and they've got primary midwayers and secondary midwayers. And the primary midwayers were supposed to be the offspring of the non-corporeal, non-physical, quote-unquote princess staff that came here to rule this planet. They were non-corporeal beings. Okay,
Whoa.
and then you've got the first offspring of Adam and Eve, which were partially non-corporeal. Okay,
Really?
and then as it goes, yeah. This book describes Adam and Eve as the biological uplifters of Earth, and they're called the material sons and gods that are sent to any spirit that gets to enough level of evolution to where they need these biological uplifters, and that's what they come to do. Then they describe how they go through all this training before they can take over their station here. And then it describes how when they fell in the rebellion, how Adam had to give women were brought to him to try to keep the germplasm going. And I've done a video where I showed the Sumerian text and him showing that exact thing about Enki. So when you deal with the concept of Enki, his wife, and Enlil and all that, what this book calls Adam and Eve, the biological uplifters, I believe they're the exact same thing. And there's actually documentation that proves it. You can actually see in one of the Sumerian texts. And I show that in that video. They're giants, okay? So there's a woman being held in the arm of somebody being brought to Enki, and she's about from here to about here, Jessica. The whole
Like a
woman's body.
baby size.
They present her like this, yeah. And this is supposed to be a woman, though. You can tell it's supposed to be an adult, but it's being presented to him. It's just, and then in the back is this giant on what looks like these huge test tubes with these levels, with these levers. Yeah, I mean that right there. They're showing you. This book even said how many thousands of women were brought to him for this germplasm to make the Adamites that weren't the normal ones that came off, but the first ones weren't even corporeal. So you've got these primary and secondary midwayers, and the secondary midwayers are supposed to be much more closer to human corporeal, okay, being much more as corporeal as us. And it even goes to talk about, oh gosh, I thought it was right there, but I didn't have it up. Anyway, but it goes on to talk about the ones that didn't go with the rebellion, that stayed loyal. And it talks about how most of the midwayers are actually earthbound, even though they're not physical, all of them. I thought that was fascinating. And they'll be earthbound until the earth gets liberated. Yeah.
Until the earth gets liberated?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. That's fascinating, Barry. Thank you for that information.
No problem. I would have told you all the different types of them, but I did a video on it. It's on my channel. Just go to extraterrestrial and interdimensional beings. It's called the midwayers, or excuse me, the book review section. The midwayer is on there.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Well, I guess speaking of being liberated from this earth, actually, the last thing I wanted to talk about today actually are human cremains. I know that's weird, right?
Human what?
Human cremains, like when someone dies and their body is cremated, the result of that, they're called cremains. Now, I have talked about cremains over and over again every time we've brought up the Ohio grave digging dog man, right? Because we always talk about how it was frantically digging into a cemetery plot where cremains were supposed to go, but it was empty. Okay, there's none there. But one of the things that people are doing more often, we just had this conversation with my family yesterday. People are not so much being buried in cemeteries anymore with caskets as much as they are being cremated. It's just the choice a lot of people are making these days here around my parts. I don't know about where you guys live, but a lot of people I know are choosing to be cremated now instead of being buried. Okay, or being cremated then buried, right? But anyways, I think it's a more economical option apparently, and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what it is. But also it could be religious. It could be anything, right? But I came across this really interesting thing because they say that we're all, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right, Barry? And they say that we come from the stars and maybe we go back to the stars, right? And so there's an artist who had, oh my gosh, where's here? Actually, let me pull this up. I think I have it on my computer. There's an artist. I'm going to call her an artist, but someone had the idea of putting human ashes under a microscope to see what they look like. And the results are absolutely stunning. I know that's weird, right? Super weird. Here's some still shots. Well, I guess they're all still shots, really. But here's some. I mean, they're full of color and vibrancy. They're absolutely beautiful. And I don't know if this is going to make you feel good or be weird. Okay.
Sure. I don't know. You have you be all blissed out. Get a bunch of remains, put them under a microscope for old Jessica. Just kidding.
Yes, I think it's great.
Well, you notice it looks like there's a crystalline texture.
It does. Right? It does. That one does. And here's some more here. So examining human ashes under a microscope can reveal surprising and colorful patterns resembling nebulae, and cosmic imagery, which can transform one's perspective on death and existence. This process has been used by artists like Gabriella Reyes Fuchs to create meaningful memorial art from the ashes of loved ones. Man, that's kind of cool to create art from the ashes. I'm not saying like I don't know, maybe just putting it on the wall or something. I know it's kind of weird, but I think it's kind of cool. Okay, this is coming from a woman who has lost many, 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 many friends and loved ones in my lifetime, even recently. Okay, and I think it's a beautiful way to memorialize people that we love. No one, I mean, to me, it looks like stars, like the galaxies and stuff. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Let's see. I was going to show some pictures. Let's see if we got some more here. I don't know. I just thought this was kind of cool, kind of neat. Everybody might think it's weird, but I think it's cool.
It's very interesting, actually.
It is very. Look, here's this. Look at this picture. This is crazy. Look at all those colors in there. I mean, dust doesn't have to be horrible. Like the way I look at it, I mean, like I said, I've experienced so much of it in my life. It's like, it's actually just a part of living. Dying is a part of living. And so I find it interesting, and it doesn't have to be just terrible and horrible.
I can't help that it makes me think about this Star Trek where they have these crystalline life forms that emerge, and when they start talking to the crew, they start saying the way they communicate, ugly bags of mostly water. You're like, what are they saying? Ugly bags of mostly water. And then Data looks at him and he said, well, it's true. If you guys are about 90% water. If you take the water out of you, you're just a couple of pounds of chemicals.
Yeah, right?
A couple of grams of chemicals. Yeah. For me, it's interesting in terms of what you just said, but also the other aspect of things, which will be the mummification process. And what the Egyptians were trying to do in terms of the way interpreted by Judy K. King and in her book, The ISIS Thesis.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and what that is basically is that our uncoded DNA, or as they call it now, they used to call it junk DNA, is actually mostly bacterial and viral and encoded in that way. Okay. And amongst that is we have something called the lambda phage, which is actually based on light. Okay. It's actually the light molecule also is involved in that, and how it can actually be used and turned into what's called the lysistic reproduction pattern, as opposed to the lysogenic. The lysogenic reproduction of a viral is where it actually destroys the host cell, but the mysogenic or lysistic is where it actually injects its code into the healthy cell, and then that starts reproducing this thing. Okay, and in this case, the lambda phage can be used to activate our DNA, the viral code there, to where we can escape the death process, the loss of memories during the death process, and even use that through certain positioning and things to also choose our next energetic form for our dream body or energy body, and have much more control over that and what form we take next, as opposed to just going through the standard natural process of reincarnation. So that's just something to think of there when looking at this also, when thinking about the lambda phage, when thinking about something like Preston Dennett's book about the UFOs over graveyards. Why is that seen so often? Is it necromancy? They're shining lights down on certain graves, or are they reactivating the lambda phage? Are they reactivating this? What looks like to me like plasmoids, what you've got on there. And we got to remember, plasma is, we start talking about orgone, all these different things. Jessica, they're different forms of plasma. You've got cold plasma, you've got dark plasma, you've got plasma that's in the excited phase, like our suns, where they the glowing phase. So it's just food for thought on that. Is that something you're looking? That's another method of that for us to survive the death process in somewhat of a lucid way as energy beings. Food for thought, just throwing it out.
Man, I love that. Yeah, we have some wonderful comments, like I said earlier, in the chat. Thank you guys so much for this. Carfast says, the Bible says we are seated in heavenly places. Our spirit is there projecting us here. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Hey.
Yes.
No, go. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I was going to read this one real quick too from Colleen. Thank you, Colleen. Maybe the Hubble space telescopes are remains of a creator universe, and we're just the bacteria on the tip of that purple horse's nose. Oh man, that's so cool. I love all this. Go ahead, Barry.
Sorry. Something I've talked about before, and it's cool because it will tie into you a little bit when dealing with Edgar Mitchell. And Edgar Mitchell talked about the remote viewing they were trained to do before they even went to the moon. Okay, let alone when they got there. But he talked about this thing that they had nicknamed the barbecue effect, because when the shuttle come back, it starts rotating so it doesn't burn up. You know what I'm talking about? It's just this rotation deal. And he said when they were doing in that rotation, it's like almost like a barbecue skewer in that way. But he says that he's looking out the window and all the stars started swirling. And he suddenly went into some sort of, I don't want to call it a false euphoria, but some type of a euphoria where he felt like there were so many stars, they were all swirling, that every star was connected to a molecule in his body.
Ooh.
And it was some sort of utopia type of enlightenment he experienced. Kind of like when you do something with almost a psychedelic, you can experience that too. And that takes us into actually the default mode network of the brain, but that's another thing. But anyway, just as far as what you're seeing there, though, goes quite along with that. And with dealing with plasma, when I've been talking about the Kordylewski clouds and things like that, People are so into quantum computing right now and the qubit. What about what they're calling the qdit and dealing with plasma that can actually be possibly sentient beings just by coming together and being a mass of plasma could be actually consciousness. So, I mean, we're getting into that stuff now with our science, with our knowledge, with our spirituality. And it's not as quite the same separate things that it was. And I think that's what has to happen for humanity to survive, honestly, without being Trappist one, enslaved.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was a interesting target there. And yeah, that's this is an interesting comment. Thank you, Uncle Remus. Oh my gosh. The plasma in us is what gives us our 98-degree temperature.
What an idiot.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Let's thank you for that comment. I do appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, I wanted to so I was bringing this up today because I think I'm finally ready to talk about this and I wasn't going to talk about this at all, but I know you guys love my doggy Freya. Y'all know Freya, and I did want to let you guys know that Freya passed away, and
sorry to hear that.
Phew, man. So she Thursday night after my show, she passed away peacefully in our house with my son and I, and very unexpected, very sudden, and so I don't know. I think that is why when I was showing the I saw those ashes and stuff, and I was like, man, that just we ended up burying her actually, so she's not cremated or anything. But anyways, I just wanted to pay tribute to my beautiful girl Freya. You guys used to hear her crying in the background sometimes and needing a treat and things like that. And so Freya was, I guess her mission was complete here. Her mission was complete.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I know it is to lose a pet. Something I want to iterate on real quick. Somebody's made comment about junk DNA. It's not junk DNA. That's what they called it, not me. It's called uncoded DNA. And if you look it up, it is bacterial and viral, like 96% of it. Look it up. So therefore, our uncoded DNA is mostly viral and bacterial. And when going to the bacterial factor, look up microbial dark matter within our earth and within our bodies as well. So don't try to say that like I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, sorry, that's why I look at the chat very much. I get irritated. Somebody over making comments, somebody else making comments about the way I look. That's simplistic stuff. I mean, I'm not, challenge the concepts I present. Anyway, back to your dog.
My dog
I'm sorry
died.
to hear that. It's so hard to lose an animal. You know what I mean?
Anyways,
I lost a 26-year-old bird. It's even worse than using it like a family member,
Well, this is my dog, y'all. So this was Freya. So everybody, please say a prayer for Freya. If you don't.
How old was she, Jessica?
She was 8 years old. Okay. So, yeah. All right. Well, RIP to Freya. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you guys so much. I think this is a wonderful show, and I do appreciate all your support. And yeah, she is. I picture Freya being in her chariot being pulled by cats now. Okay, just like Freya. So, so thank you guys so much.
Get some signs from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Well, just animal energy is interesting. I can only tell you what I've experienced through regressions too, is that they seem to have the ability to reincarnate near the energy that they're very comfortable with and manifest again. You know what I mean? So I don't have all the answers to that, but I feel like she was kind of your protector too.
Yeah,
and Ben's protector too.
She was. But like I said, her mission here was complete. So so thank you guys so much for keeping us in your thoughts. Ben and I, we've been very devastated by it. And I don't even know how I was able to get through Saturday night show, y'all. I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. So, but anyways, it was it means a lot to me that you guys were supportive of Freya and everybody loved Freya. Okay, and I'm sorry y'all didn't get to see her more, but I try to keep my family private. Okay, try to keep my son and my dog private. Okay, but anyways, but that was Freya. So so Barry, do you have any final thoughts today before we
No, thanks
say
for having
goodbye?
me on. This is interesting. This is some new stuff, and it's interesting. I really appreciate the video. Thought that was really interesting, and I love doing stuff that has something we can work on in terms of evidence and data. So that was cool, and I like to see more of that. I'm interested if she'd even maybe take a look at those guards that are around there on the horses. What do they have that stuff on, or they show heat signatures? Just real interesting stuff there, and I commend her for kind of putting that whole BBC thing together with the that they live. It's accurate.
Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. Everybody have a wonderful day. I will be back here. What is today? Monday. So I'll be back on Wednesday at 1 p.m. with another fantastic show. Please come see me this weekend at the Western North Carolina Comic Con. I'll be there all day on Saturday. I will be here on Saturday night. My buddy Rick Cox is coming on the show Saturday night. As we go on the hunt with him, I'm going to get that all set up before Saturday, but we will be live on Saturday too. So, and I've got our Keem coming back on Thursday. And yeah, I got a full week planned. It's going to be awesome. Bring the popcorn. Be there, be square. I'm sending all my love and light to you guys. And until I see you guys again on Wednesday, please stay safe out there. And I want to thank Shoshana again for being here. She is the lady who is in these reptilian videos, or the videos of the alleged reptilians in front of the Buckingham Palace. So shout out to her. And Candy Zibby, thank you so much. If you'd like to buy a headstone for Freya or anything, thank you so much. Yes, I've been thinking about doing that. Yeah, she is in our backyard right now. Unfortunately, I guess it's fortunate because I get to visit her all the time, but it's still pretty heartbreaking, and I'm still processing it, and it's been very rough for our family. So thank you, Candy. That's very sweet of you. Okay, y'all. Well, everybody have a great day, and I will see you guys back here on Wednesday. Thank you again, Barry, for being here
Hey,
and
thanks
going
for
along
having
on
me.
this
Have a
wild
good
ride
day.
with me. Okay, y'all. All right. Just remember, y'all, we're all stardust. I'll see you later.